Well, thank you so much, Sam, for doing this. I really appreciate it.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you for having.
Of course. So our podcast is all about your journey in music, and we'll talk about how you got to where you are today and your new EP that you have coming out, The Medicine, as well.
Cool.
Sweet. Tell me first, whereabouts are you? Where'd you grow up?
I'm from New York.
From New
I'm
York.
born
Okay.
in New York, Westchester County, and I live in LA now. I'm the
Okay.
only person in my family to really have left the state of New York, so it was a big deal
Oh,
when I went.
sure. And to go
I'm
across the whole country.
yes, broke my mom, sure, but it was time to go.
So tell me about growing up in New York. How did you get into music?
So it's kind of like a cheesy story, but it really is the truth, I promise. My mom tried out for my dad's band when they were kids.
Wow.
And yeah, she was like 18. So to me, they were kids, they were young. And everyone kind of warned her, was like, watch out for Joe, he's a badass, or he's this, or he's like, the bad boy in
The
the
bad
Bronx.
boy.
Yeah, they were like big Bronx. They were in the Bronx, my
Okay.
parents. And she tried out for his band and madly in love within like a couple years. And then they got married and they had a lot of many musical. I'm the middle of 5.
Wow.
And yeah, I'm the middle of 5. Everybody can sing. My little brother plays drums. He's the only boy in the whole 4 guy. And that's really, I feel like I came out of the womb singing. Like, I just believe I was in there swimming around singing. That's what I tell my mom all the time. But it was like in my blood, really, more than anything.
For sure. You said you were one of 5, a younger brother. The other siblings older or younger than you?
All sisters. I am the middle. So 2 above
Okay.
me and then 2 below me, and my brother's the baby.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So the older, have you guys ever were you like a family jam band growing up, or?
So we had the DeRosa for a minute with my my older sister Nikki, the one right above me, and Joanna, the one right below. And we did like X Factor and all those things. And
Oh, really?
we went on all those shows. We would make it all the way to Simon. Like, they'd make such a big deal. And then they would tell us, oh, you're already done. You're already, like, there's nothing we could do to change you. And I was like, what does that mean? Like, what does that mean? Like, what do you mean? What can you do to
Yeah.
change us? Then I remember I made a joke, I think, on stage, and I was like, okay, then give us a record deal. Like, I was so sassy. I was just like, all right. But eventually we started realizing that as much as we all loved singing together, we all loved different types of music and loved music in different ways.
Mhm.
So my little sister, I mean, incredible dancer, wound up opening up her own dance studio, and she
Wow.
teaches and runs it all by herself. My older sister sings in Manhattan in a wedding band. The oldest doesn't really sing anymore. And then I just realized that writing songs was my thing. I mean, it was like the
Mhm.
one thing that maybe it was middle child-ish that I felt like I needed something to make me different, but it really just became my outlet. It was like I talk so much, and when I get nervous, I talk more, and I can't answer questions clearly. I talk for 15 minutes like I am right now. So songwriting became this game of Tetris where I was like, okay, girl, you have 3 minutes. Like, get to the point. So that's what it was for me.
That's hilarious. When did you start writing songs? Like you said, you kind of used it like therapeutically. When was the first time you started writing?
When we were going to do a group with my sisters and my cousin, we were like,
Okay.
boy band for a thing. We were little kids. I was 7, and I
Wow.
decided, like, I had to write all the songs, and they had to like let me know if they were good, but like I wanted to start the ideas. And I wrote my first song when I was 7, and it was called I'll Be There.
Wow. You even
Yeah.
remember it.
Yeah, I have the notebooks. Like, I found them the other day, and it's like Sam's books, keep out. And
Oh my
one
gosh.
I wrote a duet with Christina Aguilera about like how I didn't need a man. It was really funny. Like, my handwriting's terrible, but it was like I wrote verses for them.
Oh my gosh. Have you ever dug in there and found stuff that maybe you would use later?
I probably should. Like, actually heard that Adele, her song "Send My Love to Lover," she started when she was a teenager, and she like
Really?
reopened it. Yeah, and then they turned it into the smash that it was. So maybe I could. I don't know. I was so happy to find those notebooks. That was really crazy.
That is cool. So you're singing with your sisters or in your family band, and you said you guys tried out for X Factor and these television shows. Was that just something that your parents were like, yeah, if you guys want to go try out, we'll take you down there. Like, how did that work out for you?
Yeah, my parents are they were always very supportive. I feel very thankful for that because they always used to, we didn't have money, I mean, ever. And my dad and my mom used to make a joke and say, even if we can't buy a ticket, if you're a star, we can get in for free. Like we'll get front row. We could say that's our daughter. Those are our kids. So they just always wanted us happy. And I think because they didn't have much, they wanted us to just do what would make happy selves. So they always would just, my dad would take off work, they'd drive us to the audition, they would say just have fun, we have no idea what's going to happen or if they're even going to see you, so just like go for it. And then my mom always had a joke because we all sang and we all did music. So my mom used to say, the day you start competing with each other or the day you view your own sisters as competition is the day that to go play soccer. And we would be like, no, please, like don't make us play sports. So they were really supportive and they would just drive us to anything that if we could, and that was the vibe. We'd eat McDonald's, we'd go.
Nice. And so how do you get to Los Angeles? You said you're the only one to make it to the West Coast or leave New York City or New York.
Yeah.
What took you to LA and how did you get here?
So, well, I wanted to come to LA from the beginning around when I left college in 2015. I finished Berkeley. I went to Berkeley in Boston.
Oh, wow. Okay, well, let's talk about that real quick. Sorry, we must have jumped a big step here.
It's so funny when I hate bringing it up because I think Berkeley kids are like, I love music, like nose up. And I'm so not that person. I was so out of my league, like sick. I know nothing. So I'm just gonna take what I can and get out. And
okay.
I'm so thankful I did what I did.
Well, what did you study at Berkeley?
I started in music business. I thought I was not good enough to like music full time. So I wanted to do business. And then my name got called out of a hat to perform for a bunch of label executives my first week at school. So crazy. There was
how did that happen?
I know. I wish I was making this up. There were 500 people. And it was a symposium for music. It was all these music business officials. And every teacher was like, you guys have to go to this thing tonight. It's mandatory. And so I remember I was like, I took a nap and I almost missed it. And my friend was like, I saved you a seat. And I was like, oh, F words came out. Yeah, and I was like, okay, I'll come. I don't know if I can curse on here. So you can. But okay, well, I took a nap and I was like, fuck, and I ran. And so I got, just to throw it out, I got to the auditorium or whatever it was at Berkeley. It's called the BPC. And I sat in the chair and they were like, and now it's time for the show and tell portion. We're only going to pick 3 names. And like they picked this one girl and they were so mean to her. She cried. They picked this other girl and they were like brutal. And I remember being like, don't. And then Sam DeRosa. And you actually heard an oh shit from my seat and everyone turned, it was like and I was like, oh, okay. So I got up and I was like, hi, I'm Sam. I write songs on the piano about people who hurt my feelings. And like, this is a breakup song. And I like sang a song called Hello Stranger. And I got a standing ovation. And they were like, take enough music business classes to figure out what you like are artist, but you are an idiot if you don't do this full time. And I was just like, and I called my mom. My mom thought that I had been like signed, but it really was just, it felt like that it was a life-changing.
Right.
It was life-changing advice. So that's like, really how I switched to being a songwriter. I switched to songwriting so I could get more input on songs. And I wanted to pursue an artist project, but I knew I wanted to write and took enough music business to like understand it and I was out of there.
That's crazy. So obviously you have to have music. You can't just go to Berklee School of Music to become a music business guy, can you? Like, wouldn't you have to audition to?
It's a really intense audition.
Right. That's what I assume. Because you're saying, you're in business and then they pick random names out of the hat. And what if you're one of the guys that doesn't play and you're like, uh-oh. Like you have to, but everybody has to like know how to play an instrument, I would assume, right?
Yeah, you have to get in. You have to have what they call a principal instrument. So you have to be either voice or drums or something. And the audition is
business. Got you. Okay, so you went in as with singing, or how'd you apply? I want to hear your audition process.
I went in for singing. Principal was voice, and I played and sang a song I wrote for my audition.
Wow.
And then there is a it's like a sight reading process audition where they give you paper.
Heard about this.
Yeah. And they're like, before we start, what key is this song in? And I have to look and I'm like, okay, F sharp, C sharp. It's in the key of D. It's in the key of D major because there's two sharps. Like, you know, you like go through it and you write, like they have you improv, you have to sight read, and then you do your audition, and then they have an
Wow.
interview. It was really cool though, because I felt like I was at a job interview.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot that it was college, but it was nice because it felt very pro. And I feel like I went to Berkeley because I wanted to be able to learn more about music. And I think it's like a huge, and I'm sure you know too, it's such a responsibility to be in this industry that I think it's really important that you know everything you can, you know, and
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to learn. I think the day that I don't have anything to learn or anything to like strive or somebody else is the day that I should definitely, you know, I really want to always stay in awe of it. And I knew that I
Mm-hmm.
had a lot more to learn. So I really wanted to get good and get confident in singing and playing and writing and then leave. And so that's
Sure.
it.
Yeah, you surround yourself with the best players, you know, so to speak, at Berkeley. I mean,
Yeah. And the singers are insane. They were so good. Every time someone would do a run, they'd be like, sing, go. And I just was like, they're so incredibly talented there. It's really good there.
that's very cool. So you play this song, you get a standing ovation. Obviously, that shifts everything for you. And what was so after like that validating moment, what'd you do? Where you're like, wow, okay, I'm like really good at this.
Yeah. So I got busy. I probably wrote I wrote hundreds of songs. And on top of that, I was in songwriting classes where you had to write a song a week and you'd
Okay.
have 2 or 3 of those a week. So you'd write, a teacher at Berkeley gave me the best advice ever, and he said, write crap because crap is your best fertilizer. And until you write enough crap, you can't get the good ones. So I wrote my freaking butt off. And that's where I went. And then when I left Berkeley, that's when I knew I wanted to songwrite for other people, but also write for myself and I want this, but I knew it was a destiny thing, if that makes sense. Does that
Mm-hmm.
make sense? Like
No,
I
it
never
totally
want to
does.
force, I feel like you can't force your music onto somebody. Like people have to find you and resonate with you and feel like it's something that really works. And there's so many artists that are so iconic and you wonder if they came out 10 years ago, where would they be now or vice versa? So I knew I wanted to write and I knew that a way in to my artist career maybe was to keep writing for other people. And then it kind of just happened really.
Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, so you graduate Berkeley, moved to LA, and that was your first like attempt was to try to write with other people. Like, how do you even get into like a writing room with somebody? Like, so you moved to Los Angeles, and then you're okay. Now I'm not in Boston. Now I'm in LA. Like, how do you maneuver your way into these studios and writing rooms?
That's a great question. So what happened was after Boston, I was too broke to move to LA. So I went to New York.
Okay.
I I lived in my sister's spare bedroom. I paid her $300 a month and I like waited tables and stuff. And while
Hmm.
I was in New York, a friend of mine from my hometown, he said, you should meet this guy. You should do sessions with him and you should like, you know, navigate this new New York chapter of your career. Also, is my Wi-Fi freezing? I should ask you that. Am I getting like
Like a couple times it's like stuttered a little bit, but it's totally okay. And I have a guy we edit everything out.
okay, cool. I
So
know
like,
I'm trying to like speak slowly in case it trips up.
oh no, it's okay. No, it sounds great.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
So basically I got back from Berkeley, moved home because I wanted to go to LA and and this friend of mine said, you should meet this guy and, you know, I'll intro you to some people. And I'm so thankful for him for that because he introed me to this guy named Christian.
Hmm.
And when I first met Christian, I paid for the session. I paid for like to get a song produced. And then from there, he just thought I was good. And he said, I'd love to just have you in writing for other artists or we can write some sync stuff. I just think you're good. You don't have to pay me. And I'll be forever thankful for that opportunity because he wound up being best friends with Mitchie from lovelytheband. And he called me in that
Wow.
day. He called me in that day to write what was broken in
Broken.
emotion.
Yeah.
And we wrote together for about a year and he would just keep me always. And I appreciate it so much. And he said, listen, we're writing for your project this week, but my best friend's coming into town from LA. And I think he made a joke. He's like, you're either going to love him or hate him, but he is so damn talented. You have to just get. And I was like, if he'll have me, I'd love to be in the room. Like, wow. You know, I was so thankful. I was like, hell yeah. And I just remember we got sushi and we hung out for hours. And then, you know, like most sessions, you forget. So I saved up enough money. There's like a whole story of like how I got to figure it all out. But essentially, there's a steakhouse called Mastro's. Most people have eaten there. And Mastro's was opening in Boston. And the guy called Mastro's Boston and said, I know you. Your name keeps getting thrown around. I hear that you are in wedding bands and I heard that you are looking to move to Los Angeles. And I was like, yeah. And he said, well, what if I told you you'll have a job in LA 3 nights a week singing $300 a night if you stay for a year in New York and help me open the Boston Mastro's. And I remember being so heartbroken because I was like, I can't afford to move yet. I can't do anything yet. So I should take this opportunity. And a month later, my friend introduced me to that guy, Christian, and we started working together. So I would drive into Brooklyn on a Monday, every back and forth to home every night. And then Thursday after the session, I'd drive to Boston, stay in Boston, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, play cover gigs, 4 hours a night, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday brunch. And then I would drive to New York Monday through Thursday. I mean, a whole year from like September. I know from September 2015 until New Year's Eve of 2018. And I left January like 5th and started driving across the country to LA in 2017. And I had a job and I had cuts that I just thought I was grinding. I thought it was the worst year of my life. I really did. And then I swear to God. And then I got to Los Angeles and my phone rang and I had these gigs at Mastro's Beverly Hills. I thought who I was. I could dress up. People tipped me, free butter cake. I was like, I'm living.
Butter cake.
I'm like, butter cake. Yeah. And you know, you're wearing heels for 5 hours singing like Jessie J. It's brutal, but it was the best boot camp of my life. And in that first month of me moving, I wish I was kidding. Christian called me and he said, hey dude, remember those songs we wrote? And I'm like, which ones? We wrote so many. And he said, well, Mitchie signed a deal. Lovely the Band is a band and broke first single. And I was like, oh my God. And then, I mean, the rest really truly is history. I started getting sessions. My management at the time was like, hey, she's got a song going to, like, you know, they fluffed. You fake it till you make it, as they say. But I knew I could do it. I just needed someone to give me the shot. So I just kept working really hard. And my team at the time was emailing anybody to get whatever we could. And that's how I got sessions in LA and really got moving.
Wow. So when you're in that session with, when you guys wrote Broken, like, was that something that, did you know? I mean, obviously you're saying that you drove all the way back to LA, not even thinking like that was like going to be a hit or anything. It was just like, oh, that's just one of the songs we wrote.
Yeah. I mean, that was my first real lesson that there are times when you write songs and you will forget about them because the artist has a whole vision of what they want. And at the time, I had just met Mitch. I met Mitch at the beginning of what would be the Lovely the Band chapter of his life. And the first few songs we wrote, you know, he had written like 10 and I wrote 2 of them. And I guess from there, he found the band members and it created the sound. And just a day for me, I didn't think about it. And I just think back to that all the time of how thankful I am that I was just in that room that day and was able to like be a part of that story and help him tell it the way that he wanted to be. Because if you do it just enough, right, where you put your flavor on it and you're there, the artist still resonates with the song. And I mean, that song changed his life, changed, I'm sure, Christian's life.
Oh yeah.
But he had this idea that he wanted to start a band. So that's, I guess, really where I stopped thinking about it. I was just like, okay, I wrote a song. So in my brain, check, I did everything I could and we move on, you know, and you try to just write a better song than you did the day before that. And every day I just try to be a little bit better.
Yeah.
But I had no idea.
That is nuts. Because I mean, even to this day, you still hear the song, but I worked on an alternative radio station in San Diego at the time, and we played that song like, I think like 13, 14 times a day, easily. I mean.
Thank you. Very, very.
Yeah. And we did sessions with, Lovely the Band and everything else. And Yeah, great guys. And that I didn't even realize that you co-wrote that song until I started really researching. Whoa, I just figured that was a song that those guys had
No,
written, and they're grinding out over
they
the
weren't.
years. And
I the two dudes in the band until they sold out the Roxy, and I literally approached them. And I remember Mitchie like introducing me. He's like, "This is my friend Sam. She wrote," and I was like, "Yeah, hi guys." And they're like, "Thank you so much for like helping write Broken." And I'm like, "No problem." Like,
yeah,
I was like, "Nice to meet you."
yeah, they're
It
like,
was
thanks
so.
for giving me a career.
But they were the nicest guys. They really like they're all so nice. I always just feel very lucky. I feel like I count my blessings a lot in that way. Whether you're religious or not, I just mean that in a way where like I just
Yeah.
feel I feel really fortunate to be where I am. And I try really hard more than anything to make friends every time I'm in a room, because I think that's the most important thing, you know?
Mm-hmm.
You can be really talented, but if you're an asshole, no one wants to work with you.
Right.
It's
Totally.
right. So I just think it's so important that you're a good person and that you work really hard to be talented too. So that's I don't know, we're learning.
That's cool. That's really cool. And then, so now you're in LA, you have a hit, you said you're able to get into different rooms, writing with different people. Are you always working on your own music, or were you still just kind of focusing on other people at this point?
I was focusing really more on writing for other people and then if a song came, I would know it was destiny. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I always kind of felt like, because I don't think that there's a difference between Sam the writer and Sam the artist anymore. I used to think that there was, and I was like, oh no, wait, who you are and what you bring into a room is you. That is me, right? That's how I write anyway. So sure, there are days when you have a brief and it's something specific, but for the most part, I felt like my job was to write for others and really just like get my pitch hat on and do what I could. And then a year later, I heard all these songs back that nobody wanted. And that's what really helped me start establishing my sound. I was like, wait, I love that song. Maybe it's because it's mine. And that really, but mainly I was songwriting.
And when did you put out your first song, like up on Spotify or whatever? That was just yours, and it's like, I'm gonna go. This is gonna be my first effort, like as an artist.
Yeah, I think it was 2018. I put out like a
Okay.
little song called Hard to Love. And then I released another one called Hate Me. And then I kind of just took a break. I was like,
Okay.
it was cute to release music to like the people in my hometown, but they'll hopefully still be there when I figure out like
Right.
what I want to do. And I started realizing that it's really important that when you put yourself out there, you're ready. And I always thought I was ready. I still do, but I'm so thankful for the way that things have kind of like escalated to where they are now, because now I feel so ready. The EP comes out and I'm freaking out about it, but I feel like that feels so me,
So then you write a song called Pill for This, and it makes it onto television. You're on, NBC's Songland. And what's crazy is like, I remember watching the episode with you on it with Charlie Puth, and then I had to go back and rewatch it just to like really remember it. And that was the episode that Ryan Tedder is like getting like goosebumps. He's like, look at my arm, like unreal. Like, tell me how did you get approached by them, or how did you get on the show, and tell me about that experience.
I'm an open book, so I will answer all the things. Really crazy. So back to what you said about how you didn't know that I co-wrote Broken. Drummer of Lovely the band's name is Sam. And I was in Nashville, January of 2018. Okay. I remember I was eating like the most delicious pulled chicken sandwich of my life at a place called Edley's. Not enough.
What's it called? Because I haven't been, but we're going soon, so I need to know a good place to eat.
Edley, Edley's.
Okay,
but there's so much. I can give you a whole list. I love it. I'll give you a whole list. Like, will eat my way through any city. It's my favorite thing to do. But
amazing. You sound like my wife. That's like her favorite thing to do is find the place to eat.
Yeah. A good girl always got an appetite. That's just what it is. But I got a call from Lovely the band's manager, and he made a joke about like, I had heard through the grapevine that everybody had thought that Sam in Lovely the band was the Sam that wrote Broken. But it made sense because my name is Sam, the drummer's name is Sam. So you just say, oh, Sam. And they didn't know that like Sam was like this girl from New York. So Dennis, the manager of Lovely the band, called me on the phone and it was kind of making a joke of how he's like, do you want a publishing deal? And I was like, what? Like, what do you mean? You know, what is that? What do you mean? And he was like, well, I was like, no, Sam's this like little Pop-Tart from New York. That's who co-wrote Broken. And so he's talking about the deals that I could be signing because Broken's going to be a hit and it's going to go #1 in a couple months. And I'm literally like, what is happening? And we hang up the phone and my phone rings and it's, hi, this is, I think her name was Colleen or Courtney from NBC Songland. And I hung up. I thought it was a prank. I was like, there's no way on earth these two things are happening 10 minutes. There's just no way.
Right.
So I didn't, and I was like, I was like, bye. And I hung up the phone. I really did. I was like, no. And then I went back to my friend's apartment and my manager at the time busted into the room and he was like, Sammy, these people are going to, he called me Sammy. These people are going to call you back. You need to talk to them. And I was like, no. I was like, I've done X Factor. I've done all these shows where they never show me on TV and they waste my time and they make me think I'm not good. And blah, blah. I was being such a brat, you know, but I was scared. I said, not that there's anything wrong with winning anything on television. I mean, you look at Kelly Clarkson and all these amazing artists, but I just said, maybe I'm meant to earn it in a different way. I'm not meant to win it. I have to work really hard for it. Not that they didn't. I don't want to say it in that way, but it just wasn't in the cards for me because I kept trying and kept getting the door slammed in my face.
Yeah, you had a different path than the television win. Yeah.
Yeah. So I got on the phone with Songland and they said, this is not like any other show. You can only get on if you're good. You can only get on if you have a song. We haven't even filmed it yet. You'd be the pilot. So long story long, I'm the pilot of Songland. We go to film this thing. It's supposed to be Maroon 5. Adam Levine, and I'm like, oh my God, Adam Levine, he's so handsome. I'm gonna pitch this off on team. Like, here we go. And then like the day before, they tell us it's Charlie Puth. And I was like, oh my God, I had an English class with him.
This is okay, go on. Okay.
Like, if he remembers me, like I was so crazy. I was like, I didn't come all this way to be handed a career by someone who doesn't even know my name. Like, I was so worried he would be mean. I didn't know what to expect. I just panicked. And I tend to do this a lot. And I like self-sabotage and get in my own way. But I panicked and they were like, if anybody here feels like they know Charlie Puth. And I did. And I was like, I don't want to be accused of cheating, but like we had a class once and they were like, okay, we're not even going to mention that you know each other. We'll let it naturally happen. If he remembers who you are, we can open up the Berkeley thing. Don't stress it.
Okay.
So I didn't stress it. I was like, okay, cool. Because I thought this was like a ploy and there was like, they were planting the seeds, you know, to make it like,
right.
And I wanted to just sing my song and just get the hell out of there. That's all I was thinking. Just like, right. Please just, you know? So I went in, I go to walk in and Ryan Tedder, hello. And I like love him. So I go, hello. And Charlie goes, I know you. And I go, you do. You do. You know, like, Here we go. and Esther Dean goes, oh, you're cute. You know her? She was so cute. She started being like, you didn't date this girl at Berkeley when you had the... She was just being so funny. She was like nagging on him. Like, you didn't date this girl. And I was like, wow, thank you, Esther. And then she goes, are you married? And I said, no. Oh God, no. When you hear this song, you'll know why I'm not married. And I word vomited again. And then accidentally aired my dirty laundry to all of America that the song I was about to sing was that my ex-friend and my ex-boyfriend got engaged, and I found out on Instagram while in traffic heading to a session, and I wrote a song called Kill for This. So as I was singing it, my eyes were closed a lot of it. You sing the song twice so that they get all the takes. The first time I was so nervous, I just remember my eyes were shut and I didn't see the goosebump thing because my little knees were like buckling in these heels that were too tall for me. I don't wear heels. I was like, this is the worst thing that could happen is to like shake in heels. But that's really what happened. Charlie remembered me and he wound up being an angel. I really have to say that. Sold me to the crowd before I even gave them my name. He said, I knew you were the waitress like on Newberry Street and you used to sing in bands. And I remember you raising money he remembered me. He remembered me. I wrote him a paper in English class once. Like he remembered. I charged him $200 for a 2-page double-spaced paper. I was like, okay, I feel like you're rich and I'm not. So like, I just need to like figure this out.
Sure. That's so funny because now I
But yeah,
remember. I watched back the clips of the song. I didn't, and then when you saw it, the Berkeley thing, I'm like, oh yeah, he's the one. He's like, oh yeah, I remember you.
yeah, he's so I couldn't get over how nice he was. It just really goes to show how panicking and worrying does you no good, because they wound up being amazing. They wound up loving the song. Charlie remembered me and spoke so highly of me. I started crying, and he cried too. They didn't show that part. Right when I sang my song, he started crying, and Esther made him get up and hug me. I mean, he was very, very, very sweet.
That's
And
amazing.
told me, Tedder just was like, he actually, they didn't show it on the TV, but he was like, "Who are you and where's your record deal?" And I was like, "Are you joking? Like, what is happening?" And then I left that day being like, I don't care what happens after this. I feel like I got that validation from someone like that, just saying that I was good. Sometimes you need to hear that, you know?
For sure. And then it did lead to a deal, right? You ended up signing with Shane's company with
Yeah, I
Monument.
signed with yeah.
So tell me
So
about, was that all through the same vein of the Songland thing?
yeah, so I remember she came up to me after and was like, "Do you like sing? There's no way you just write songs." And I was like, "Wow, thank you." It's my dream. My dream, yeah, is to like tour, and I want to be like a multi-platinum Grammy award-winning artist who also is multi-platinum for her songwriting. That would be the goal. And he was like, "Well, we should talk." And I remember just being like, "He's so nice and funny about it. What does he mean?" And then a couple months later, after Songland got picked up and to start filming the other episodes, my phone rang and it was Shane. And he was like, "Hey, I can send Pill for this right now to," and he named a bunch of artists. He said, "What do you want to do?" And I mean, per usual, as you could probably tell from this podcast, I talked for like 15 minutes and couldn't give an answer, and just like guy probably wanted to jump off a building. And I just kind of kept talking, and he just started laughing. And he was like, "I just needed to hear you say it," like with his accent. And I was like,
Yeah.
"What?" And he goes, "I'll be in touch." That was it. And then I got an email and a phone call from my lawyer, and he was like, "Okay, here's what's going on. They want to sign you. They want you to take other meetings. They want you to meet with every other label, but they want to be the first people to open that door." So that's really how it happened. I met with a couple other labels. They were all really awesome, amazing meetings in LA. Everybody was amazing, but there was just something that I really trusted about Shane in a way where I felt like he was going to let me be me, and he trusted me, and he was also going to work with me in the process
Mhm.
of it all, which felt really cool. And that's really how it happened.
Wow. And with Pill for this, did he put you back in the studio? Like what happened after you signed? Because you obviously have an EP coming out.
Mhm.
Were those songs that you had written, recorded prior to this whole thing kind of coming together?
So after I wrote Pill for this, I feel like the feelings kind of rushed on, and I wrote all of those songs. A lot of them were written before I signed. And
Hmm.
then Medicine, the title track of the EP, was written after I signed. I was
Okay.
getting a lot of DMs from people just kind of being like, "What's the end of the story?" Or "This happened to me too. How can, like, please tell me more." And I said, "You know what? I just want to like, I always wanted a song called The Medicine." It was very not planned with Pill for this, but after I signed, that was the song that I knew would be what kind of tied all the songs together. They all were about a lack of closure, and I don't know, the story kind of wrote itself. And then I got
Hmm.
signed and I had the opportunity to put them all together on a bit of work. So
It's amazing.
yeah.
That's and so you've got when's the record coming out? In a couple next year?
It comes out Friday the 13th of the year, literally like a couple days.
Oh, today, like this month, like in 4 days. Oh my gosh.
Friday, November 13th. Very fitting, of course, I would. Like, I mean, I was like, just after an election in the middle of a pandemic on Friday, November 13th, I'm
Why
deciding
not?
that, yeah, let's go for it. So,
So the record comes out on Friday. Like, is it weird, obviously, putting out an album? Is this your first body of work and then it's during a pandemic? Like, uh, did you have plans of touring, or what was the
yeah,
original plan? And then how did COVID destroy it?
I, honestly, I mean, it's too real. Pill for this was hopefully of March is like what we kept planning for, was like sometime in March I would go to radio with Pilfer This from the show.
Okay.
And then COVID happened. And COVID happened because I guess, you know, radio people start pulling out and there's no one's in their car. So unless you're already a super really and to push the song. So that was the first, you know, knife to the chest. And then I was like, you know what? I'm not the only person this is happening to, you know, and I have this body of work ready. So we'll just put it out still. And it was always slated for November 13th. And we like locked it all in. And I was like, oh my God, there's an election 10 days before. Sick. And then, you know, we were going to tour it. Couldn't do that. So I just said, you know what? Let's just have, why hold anything back anymore? You know, I don't want to wait till next year to put this out. I want to move on and write more songs and keep putting more things out. And I just feel so thankful to even be able to do this, that screw it. If it's a COVID EP, it's a COVID EP, but we are out. We are the most out here we've ever been. So we're doing it.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And to support it, are you going like live on Instagram, doing any of those type of performances?
Yeah, I'm recording a bunch of acoustic covers of most of the songs from the EP. I'll be doing an IG live, you know, all that stuff. But I did an iHeartRadio thing with Z100. We did the iHeart Duncan Lounge.
Oh, cool.
Which was really fun, and I got to do an interview there. So that'll come out soon. And a couple like little one-off things, something for the Sad Girls Club. I really like the Sad Girls Club. And it's like a great just channel for girls. So I've been doing little kind of stuff to help keep everybody else busy too on their pages.
That's cool. And what about co-writing? Are you writing with anybody right now or working on anything?
Yeah. I mean, this has been all about camps. This COVID has brought a lot of writing camps in for specific artists. And right now they said, you have Maroon 5 looking, Kelly Clarkson looking, and all these artists looking. So they'll organize camps where you'll spend the whole week with people and you'll try to pitch songs to them. So I've been co-writing with pretty much everybody, a lot of Warner Chat people. I'm published by Warner. And then, yeah, just been busy. I mean, I think we're trying to focus a couple more songs for Dixie D'Amelio, who I wrote Be Happy for. And we're just kind of like,
you did?
I'm spending the end of the year.
Wait,
yeah.
What? How do we forget that conversation?
I did.
And then I just wrote this, you know, it's like the biggest song ever right now.
Oh, nice. Thanks so much.
Okay.
Yeah,
I have a 12-year-old son. I don't think there's 15 minutes to go through this household that we don't hear that song. Tell me about that. And how did you?
Wow. Really?
Oh yeah. Oh my goodness.
Thank you. So I have I wrote that song because I'm pulling it up. I have the freaking demo from when we did it, but
oh my gosh.
Yeah, we wrote really cosmic. It was released June 26th, 2020, and we wrote it on June 26th, 2019. A year to the day.
Weird.
Isn't that
okay. Yeah.
I don't know what it means. Like I didn't play lotto or anything, but I'm sure that was a thing. But so this is so crazy, but I have a friend I met through Warner Chappell who I love dearly, and Christian, who produced Broken and I wrote Broken with. I was like, the three of us should write. And we got in a group text. And I remember we just kind of kept pushing dates around and it was like a nightmare because everyone was busy. And we finally just said, screw it. Next week, 2 p.m. sounds good. And I kept being like, please, guys, I have a concept. I have a really cool idea. I think it's really cool. I bought a sign from Home Goods that said, be happy. It was the little wood sign. And I kept it dressed. And it's like a cheesy rose gold colored sign that just says be happy. And one time I was having a horrible day and I was like, screw this sign. But I didn't break it. I just like put it face down. And I wrote in my phone, sometimes I don't want to be happy. Don't hold it against me. And I literally waited until I was with my friends because I knew they were who I wanted to write it with. And I mean, they just took it to a whole nother level. But we wrote Be Happy and it sat in the Dropbox. lovelytheband did a version of it. A bunch of people took it and tried to mess with it. And we never said no. We were just like, sure, anybody who wants it. And then I almost put it out and I was like, I don't know. I resonate with it so much, but I don't want to take away from the writers. Like, what if somebody really big wants it? And I was just like, I'll wait a little bit longer. And then Christian's manager sent us a text and was like, Christian sent us a picture of her and said, "Hi, this girl wants Be Happy." And I was like, I don't know who that is, but I see the word TikTok and I know that all the kids are all about it these days. So like, yeah.
I see the
And
word TikTok and about 9 zeros next to her
yeah,
name and the
like,
followers.
and so I guess she had posted a video of herself singing for the first time back at the beginning of like the year, January, February-ish. And fans went crazy on the comments and were like, "Drop the mixtape, sis," or whatever you say.
Mhm.
And I feel like
Some
they
12-year-old language.
Mixtape, sis. But so really what happened was she heard the song. She heard a bunch of songs. She loved Be Happy. She really resonated with Be Happy. She cut the vocal. We heard the demo and it came out in the summer. And I just remember getting a call from Christian's manager publisher, the guy who placed the song and really made it all happen. And he was like, the song's at almost 1 million streams in less than 12 hours. Like, I just want everybody to put positive energy and keep rooting for it. Go team. Like he gave really good advice that it's so important that the energy around a song. Oh, did I glitch? Are we good? I was like,
no, you're good. Yeah, you for half a second is fine.
Okay, sorry. So his Christian's manager had said it, gave really good advice and said it's so important when you have a song come out that there's good juju and like amazing energy, because that is what drives a song. So we just kind of stayed optimistic, and then the Blackbear remix came out, all these other things came out, and now it's hundreds of millions of streams. It's crazy. So
it's insane.
I have the freaking demo. I want to play you a snippet of it. It's crazy.
I would love to hear it.
Can you hear this? Sometimes
Oh my God, how crazy.
Yeah, so that song's another one that just is, currently changing my life. Like, I was home doing nothing, got an email, "Hey, it just broke top 40 radio." I was like, "What?" And then Dixie sent flowers to my house. Like, I've yet to meet her, but I can't say enough about her. Like, her team, her family, I feel like they really are as genuine as they seem, because I got roses sent to my house. I got a video from her saying, "Hi, Sam, thank you for the song." Like, so kind. And then she followed me on Instagram, and I got all these crazy followers, and I was like, sick.
Oh my gosh.
Oh,
that is so, you've wrote like the 2 biggest songs of like the past couple years.
I don't know about that, but I'm just so thankful that I can't believe how many people have heard the song. I think that's what will always trip me up, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
oh yeah,
how many people listen. That's what freaks me out. And obviously the goal as an artist is that's all I want, is to get to that level, but have me singing it and someday. But for now, I'm so thankful with where I am, because I know it's all about the climb, like Miley says. So I'm just like, thank God I didn't put out Be Happy. Look what happened. I'm the first to say it. I'm like, thank God Dixie took that song.
Oh my God. That's so crazy.
I've never played that. You just got like a sneak peek.
Oh, well, thank you. I am in shock. I think you should put that on your record.
Thank you. I haven't thought about like what to do with it, because I posted a TikTok like, "Hey, this is how I wrote Be Happy, just for fun." And everyone was like, "Put out your demo." And I was like, I don't know if I can. Maybe, but we'll see.
I've talked to some artists that write and do both, and I always ask I've asked that question before, like, well, like, can you just put it out, or can you do it and play it? And they're like, yeah, I guess you typically give it to the artist that you sell to let them put it out first, but then usually, everyone I've talked to is like, yeah, you could just take it and play it or put it out or whatever. But I
Yeah,
don't
I
know.
tried to
Legally, I don't
wait.
know.
I wanna wait for the sake of, like, it's doing so well at radio. Not that I would take away traffic from it because it wouldn't be anything that crazy, but just to give it the like, the spotlight it deserves, and then maybe next year on my next body of work, I'll just, like, put out the demo because
Yeah.
maybe I'll put it on TikTok and see if they do something with it because that's a whole nother beast.
That is a whole nother beast.
All
So
the
were you aware of the extent of TikTok before that song like hit
no,
TikTok? Like, did you?
no.
Yeah, okay.
I truly thought that it was like people did it just because they were bored in quarantine and it was an app that everybody was just floating to. I didn't have one.
Mm-hmm.
Someone had made one and claimed to be me, which I thought was so cool. I didn't think it was creepy. I thought it was cool. Like someone took like my terrible dancing videos on Instagram and like posted them and it was like at Sam DeRosa and I was like, definitely not me. But so I had one without having one. But I just didn't get the app at all. I really
Mm-hmm.
didn't. And then when they sent us her info and her like numbers, I was like, I don't care about any of that. Does she like the song? Is she going to push it as a single? Like, does she believe in the song? That's all you really care about as a songwriter. Of
Mm-hmm.
course, cool that she's got millions of followers. But when you're like moving from an app into a music career, I think it's really important that it's just, do you really want this for life? And are you really going to push this song? And she was so excited about it. I was like, holy shit. Yeah, duh. And then I saw her kick Kanye West to #2 on YouTube with the music video premiere. And I was like, this little 18-year-old girl can get it. Like, good for her.
And
Good
her
for
sister too. Her sister was
Yeah,
like,
her
I think was
sister
the biggest TikTok. She had the most followers or something on TikTok or
Great.
yeah.
It's just,
It,
I feel very thankful to be a songwriter on that because I feel like, especially during the pandemic, it's helped a lot of people, which I didn't even realize that at the time. Cause I mean, I wrote it to help me, to be quite honest with you. And I just knew I wanted to write it with my friends. And I had no idea that it would take on the life that it has. And I feel the same way about Broken. I feel the same way about Pill for This. I think it's just, you can't be selfish with songs because people need to hear them. And it's like, you never know. You never can predict what's going to happen ever.
For sure. Thank you so much, Sam, for talking with me today. I really appreciate it. You're so awesome.
Thank you.
I
You're genuine. Thank you.
I honestly want to talk with you like next year at this time and figure out what 2 hit songs you wrote. Like in a year from now, whatever like the 2 biggest songs are, I can just be like, oh yeah, those are probably just Sam probably just wrote those 2, right? Like, so yeah. So whatever you're putting together right now, I'm sure will be the hit of 2021 or in 22 and we'll figure it out. Because I knew Broken blew my mind, but now with Be Happy, I'm just like, okay, you win.
Wow. You're so nice. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me. I love your genuine excitement on your face is probably my favorite thing I've ever seen on a Zoom interview. Like,
oh, thank you.
You're back and forth and your eyes get big. I'm like, I love how into it you are. I just appreciate you so much. I really do. So
I appreciate you. And my older son's gonna freak when I tell him that you wrote that song, and he's gonna freak out when I play him this clip of the song. He's gonna so. I really appreciate you. Thank you so much. I have one more question for you. Even though you've given me so much and you've given so much advice throughout this entire thing, between your gems and like your Berkeley teacher, but I want to know if you have like one small snippet of advice to an inspiring artist.
I give the same advice when I'm asked this, but I will say it till the cows come home. 2 things. 1, if you are a creator, there is a natural fire inside of you that makes you you. Spend time with yourself to feed that fire. Turn your phone off. Take a lot of time with yourself. It's really important that you know who you are and what you want to say. 2, make the music that you want to make, that you need to make, that you just feel like you can't make anything else. Don't make what you think you have to make or what you think is cool, because if you chase sounds, you'll chase them forever. That's what I feel. And just go for it. Just go. Stop thinking, do it.
Bring it back.